Yes, thank you. Happy afternoon. How's everyone doing this lovely afternoon in Vegas? Yes, the energy. Are we in that like afternoon slump? No, okay. I want to feel the energy because we're about to get into the hot topic. We know, AI, everyone's talking about it. But yes, my AI fan. Where's the scream? Where's the yell? Where are you? Okay, oh, he just threw his phone up, okay. Well, specifically, the sports broadcasting landscape, as we know, is undergoing a transformation, right? Influenced by the convergence of software-defined broadcast technology and AI. So this synergy has become a catalyst for revolutionizing sports broadcasting, enhancing the overall fan experience. And today we're going to hear from the Intel team, in partnership with OBS and Deloitte, who will dive into their work at the Olympic Games, how cool, and how it is driving the broadcast industry forward. We're also going to learn about how technology solutions can extend beyond the games and are being deployed today across industries from production to delivery. So with that, please welcome to the stage Dan Rodriguez, Corporate Vice President and General Manager of Network and Edge Solutions Group for Intel. Give it up for Dan.
Hello, everyone. It's truly great to be here with all of you at NAB in Vegas. And it's definitely an exciting time in the media entertainment industry. And I will say, there's so much opportunity to drive information and transformation at scale across this industry. Now, Intel has been working with many of you in media entertainment really over 3 decades, driving all sorts of innovations, including helping the industry transition from analog to digital, to SD, to HD, to UHD, and then ultimately to 8K. And in these times, we've all collaborated really as one team to drive these transitions. Now, I do believe when you're driving major transformations at scale, it's best to do it as an open ecosystem. Because as an open ecosystem, you can fuel innovation faster. You can reduce complexity, and the best part is that you can let developers do what they do best, which is to innovate. Now, the transition to software-defined broadcasting, it is at a pivotal moment, and it has the potential to truly accelerate innovation in this industry, as well as improve the overall TCO. And then there's AI. And AI is obviously the buzz of every industry on the planet, and for good reason. And AI has a great opportunity in this industry too. It has the opportunity to really impact every aspect of the video broadcast workflow, as well as really enhance the fan experience by delivering personalized and customized content. So the opportunity's there, and it's really up to us to truly innovate in all aspects, from production to delivery to the end users. And the good thing is, you don't have to wait long. You're going to see some of these innovations in action this year at the Olympics in Paris, and I will say that these innovations are ready to scale to the industry. And when I think about the Olympics, I of course love watching the games, and it's always fun to watch your favorite athletes. But what's equally impressive is the broadcast itself. And OBS provides media's right holders with over 11,000 hours of content, and the broadcast is expected to exceed over 360,000 hours to billions of fans around the globe. And they'll utilize up to 60 simultaneous feeds at once. But at the same time, the viewers and the fans, their expectations continue to grow, and fans want live streaming. They want replay. They want instant highlights, and they want to see the stats of their favorite athletes across all their video and digital platforms. So let's take a look at this video.
At the Olympic and Paralympic Games, AI is reshaping the landscape of real-time broadcasting and entertainment. And with Intel's AI platform technology driving the broadcast evolution, Paris 2024 will have unprecedented levels of content access and engagement for fans everywhere. billions of viewers worldwide tune in to over 360,000 hours of content across more than 320 sporting events and are able to find localized content from every moment, every triumph, and every heartbeat of their hometown heroes and more. Intel's leading-edge 5G and AI platforms make it all possible by powering updates that deliver curated highlights near instantaneously as the Olympic and Paralympic Games unfold. The Intel ecosystem connects processing hardware with software-defined broadcast technology, allowing media rights holders access to multiple platforms. With Intel Xeon processors, we're able to produce UHD HDR content end-to-end, from the content creation and capture all the way through post-processing until the content is ready for viewers to consume.
In Paris 2024, we're going to have a live production environment running on Intel Xeon scalable processors. We are using Intel's processors to transform broadcast.
We enable lightning-fast, ultra-low latency content transmission from the venue to the outside broadcast vans, facilitating real-time content production and highlights creation, elevating the fans' experience. Our Intel technology enriches the experience for athletes, broadcasters, operators, citizens of host cities, and fans alike. This year, tune in and don't miss a beat of the action.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's pretty cool stuff. Now, Intel is really proud to be a top partner of the Olympic and the Paralympic Games. And we're here with other top partners today to talk about how the Olympics is going to utilize AI, 5G, in combination with software-defined broadcasting to really achieve never-before-seen levels of automation, efficiency, better TCO, and just better viewer experiences. Now, this builds on years of work. And since 2018, we pioneered these technologies, including private 5G in venues. We've also proven out the software-defined broadcasting concept with the virtual OB van. We piloted these concepts in Beijing, but in Paris this summer, 2024, software-defined broadcasting truly becomes a reality. In Paris, it's also going to be the first time it's possible to broadcast end-to-end a major sporting event utilizing commercial off-the-shelf hardware, utilizing Intel's CPUs, our Ethernet NICs, our GPUs, as well as utilizing AI to augment fan experiences. We're enabling partners like OBS to capture, process, and deliver content to rights holders and viewers truly at an unprecedented pace. Welcome to the world of software-defined broadcasting. Now today, I'm super excited to be able to invite two very strong partners from the Olympics on stage to talk about all this technology and how it's truly enabling the broadcast community to better capture, process, and share content for more connected experiences, whether you're an athlete or a viewer. With that, I'd like to welcome on stage Giannis, the CEO of the Olympic Broadcasting Services, and John, a managing director of the media entertainment practice from Deloitte. Let's give them a round of applause. Thanks, John. Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you both for being here today.
Thank you for having us. Great day today for us.
It's a great day, and I think you know this already, but it's about 100 days before the Paris Games, so truly a special day. And I have to say...
Actually, 12 hours ago, we had the lighting of the flame in ancient Olympia. So it's been lighting now for 12 hours.
Wow.
So the flame is up. The games are coming.
The games are coming. And I will say that I do love sports and I love the Olympics, and I really do enjoy both surfing and snowboarding. And I'm super excited that surfing has finally become an official sport, and I'm even more excited that it's going to be broadcast this year from Tahiti. So I could go on all day about the sports that I love, but I'd rather hear from you, Giannis, to start talking about how the Olympic broadcast has really changed and evolved over the last 4 games.
Thank you very, very much. First of all, I'm very happy you're excited about surfing. I must say that not necessarily every engineer within OBS were so excited when they learned that surfing will take place in a remote beach in Tahiti, on the other side of the world, while the games would be in Paris. So they had a very interesting problem to resolve. But that being said, it is the most iconic place to have a surfing competition and a great problem to solve. I would say that in your introduction, I think more or less you described what is the value, but also what is the problem. You spoke correctly, you say in Paris we plan to produce probably more than 11,000 hours of content within 17 days. That's more than a year. It's almost 450 days worth of content being produced in 17 days. And the consumption of that, we have the ambition that probably broadcasters all together, they will broadcast more than 500,000 hours of content. And hopefully this will result in more or less half the Earth's population experiencing the games. This describes a little bit the value. The Olympics and a couple of major events have this very special quality of being huge aggregators of audience. In a world of such incredible segmentation of audiences, they bring people together. It's also the message of the Olympics to bring people together. But this can no longer be done on the back of traditional ways of working, of producing and telling stories. The basis of the stories is also emotional, the achievement of these incredible athletes, the best athletes of the world. But the way you have to do it and the way this content and these stories are consumed are very, very different. Of course, you still have a very big number of people who consume the Olympics in quite traditional ways. But if we talk about younger generation, younger demographics, and the proliferation of digital media, of course, you had to look at it in a different way. And this is what gets us to having to produce so much. The competition itself is around 3,400 hours in the Summer Games. We'll produce 3 times this amount of content. Why? In order to feed the insatiable beast of digital. So content of every different type, obviously a very high level, high quality production for traditional television, but also tons of content for digital, for social, and so on. So the Olympics is a big problem of scaling. You know, we are among engineers here. Within 2.5 weeks in Paris, leading up to the games, we will have to install 450 racks of equipment, around 45 venues, 50 OB vans, to set up 70 galleries with very, very demanding configuration. So for us, it has been not just now, but a few years ago, a fundamental strategic decision to exploit as much as possible the opportunities that IP technology was bringing. And this has signaled our strategic transition from relying mostly on traditional broadcast technology into exploring the possibilities of IP technology. So today we arrive at the point where actually software-defined broadcasting is a reality. In Paris, we will produce 4 sports without using traditional broadcast equipment, with software and off-the-shelf hardware, mostly developed by you. This has been a long road, obviously a roadmap. Our engineers were very happy that Intel embraced this vision that we had, but this can work miracles in terms of addressing this scalability problem. And I would say something more also of allowing even the storytelling to become more aggressive, more interesting, more creative, going several directions. It's not just about efficiency, it's about providing new opportunities to the creative part of our industry of doing things that were not really possible. So this for me is the big transformation. It manifests itself in different ways, like the big direction we took into bringing things on the cloud. Again, many of our colleagues, when we spoke about it back in 2018, were raising eyebrows, you know, over the cloud, video, high definition, 4K, over the cloud, live. Well, 40% of the international transmission in Paris will be done over the cloud. Doing coverage without OBS on software. We are start doing it. We're doing it together with you. Exploring and using more and leveraging the opportunities of 5G. We will be using 5G even for the coverage of the opening ceremony in Paris, which is going to be the largest and most complex broadcast coverage in the history of the Olympics, potentially probably in the history of television, because the technologies are there, they're mature, we can use them. So I would say that the fundamental shift has been this direction towards IP, towards what today we start calling software-defined broadcasting. And it's great for us to have a partner like Intel that embraced this vision to get to support media in this way. And we can make this vision a reality already in Paris.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting times. It's really great to hear the perspective on how software-defined broadcasting can really shape the industry and even help viewers in the end as well. And you also mentioned another technology called 5G. And I do believe, and the industry believes too, that private 5G will also enhance the fan experience. And there's a major show, it's called Mobile World Congress. It's an annual show in Barcelona. It's the biggest mobile conference in the world. And it just happened 2 months ago, and a sailing athlete just happened to cruise through our booth, and he saw the Olympics demo. And he stopped by, checked it out, and thought the overall demo was great. But what really captured his attention was that we're going to be mounting cameras on boats and then connecting them up with private 5G to provide really in real time, never before insights into the world of sailing that fans can truly enjoy. And it's certainly going to increase that fan base because they're going to see some really unique perspectives. So I do think 5G is going to have a big impact on this industry as well. But there's another, super large topic, another buzzword called AI, which is also going to enhance the fan experience. And I know, John, you've been utilizing AI and really thinking about how you can use it today, but also how to evolve the technology. Maybe you want to share your thoughts on it.
Yeah, sure. So I'm assuming this is the first time all of you are hearing the word AI at this conference. So, I just want to remind everyone, AI is not just one technology. It's not just Gen AI, which is the most current form that people are talking about. AI is truly going to be of great value. Yannis was mentioning about the growth of content. That growth is not going to stop. There's going to be more content produced, and the content that's going to be produced is going to be more sophisticated. And the way that we're going to get there and to keep the costs under control is through technologies like AI. Just one example. I think that there are a lot of underserved languages, cultures, and communities throughout the world that will take benefit from the ability of Gen AI to generate in their particular language, their particular dialect, and to experience the games in a way that is even more immediate to them as a viewer. That's just one example. Language translation, language generation is just one thing that we can do to enhance the user experience and personalize it further for folks. Even beyond the obvious personalization of selecting your camera angles, your events, your games, all that stuff will absolutely happen, but I'm mostly excited about the mission of the Olympics and being able to help the world come together, and that includes some of these, more underserved communities that can be benefit from AI.
Absolutely. Let me, if I may say, because obviously the subject is, it's a buzzy word, AI, but I think especially in this form and this context, we have a responsibility to be a little bit more concrete, because yes, the opportunity is big, but how do we make sure that people do not lose tons of money, in things that will not necessarily work, or how do they go all directions? So for us, because also we have been working for a number of years on different AI solutions, but my view is that we need to take a kind of focused direction, and sometimes the big hype around generative AI may obfuscate a little bit this effort. Let me tell you a couple of things that we're doing in Paris. We have a huge need for personalization of content and very quick turnarounds, almost live basis turnarounds. So one of the solutions that we saw in AI technologies is the automated generation of highlights or catch-up contents that broadcasters can use, can customize, and can even personalize per themes, per country, per athletes. We're talking about thousands and thousands of highlights to be cut within seconds after the event or even during the event. So there, in collaboration with Intel, we are using this platform, a platform that Intel is basing on their Getty technology that will allow broadcasters to do exactly that. This is something that we are already doing in Paris. Broadcasters jump to the opportunity because for them, it will save them. It's not that it will save them. They were not able to do it. Nobody has the resources to be cutting so many highlights for so many events for such a personalized use. So this is something, I think it's a very, very concrete use. On the experiential front, we're also, targeting something very, very specific. We're targeting 360 degrees replays, a little bit like the Matrix thing. Those were very difficult to be done for a live sport event, to bring in replays while the competition is on and while they're still relevant. AI is helping bridge this gap, is helping to provide the solution. So my view is that AI is obviously a huge opportunity. Incidentally, in 2 days from now, the International Olympic Committee will be presenting to the world our vision for AI and how it can transform the world of sport in general, and clearly broadcasting and digital technology is one major part of that.
Yes, absolutely. So clearly there's huge amount of potential out there for the use of AI in this industry. But we all know it's not a cup of tea always. There's still a bunch of challenges in terms of how you utilize AI in broadcasting. And I know, John, you've been working with the industry. Could you maybe talk a little bit about what challenges and problems that broadcasters may anticipate or should anticipate when integrating AI into their workflow?
100%. So I think the biggest piece of advice that I give to our clients with regards to AI is that we need to be ready no matter which way it's going. We can't predict every potential future scenario of exactly how AI is going to work, exactly what use cases are going to become popular, et cetera. And so there are some core fundamentals that are going to be there no matter what happens with AI or pretty much any other technology. Number one, you need to have a governance in your organization, technical, operational, et cetera, that can change, that knows how to deal with the change as it comes. Number two, you need to have a core infrastructure based on commodity technologies and other things that is flexible in how it is able to address different types of use cases. And you also need to really focus from an AI perspective, really focus heavily on your data layer within your organization, ensure that your data quality is good, because if the AI is not getting good data, you're not going to get good results. So it's very important to think about these very basic fundamental engineering things as you go through the process, because those are the things that are going to make you successful.
Thanks, John. Obviously, a lot to consider when implementing AI models in a broadcast environment. But Giannis, I do want to take this conversation back one more time, back to software-defined broadcasting. And obviously, I'm really excited about what you're bringing to the Olympics this summer in Paris. But what can we look forward to beyond Paris?
I think following what I have been describing before, our big vision is really to make our technical operations so flexible that we can really have an end-to-end production, delivery, processing, distribution of signals of the biggest event in the world, purely relying on software solutions for the market, applied on really OEM underlying technology. This will provide us, whether it's on-prem or on cloud, it will depend on the specific solution, on the specific workflow, and on the specific demand. Because as John says, the need for content, more personalized content will not go away. And sometimes the type of content will emerge every 2 or 3 months. Something will become very popular. A way of shooting will become, we cannot be designing games only 4 years ahead. There will be outdated games by the games we do. So we need to have the flexibility to apply creative ideas with a very flexible tech infrastructure. And this is what, for me, is the big deal with software-defined infrastructure. You guys know better than me. I'm not an engineer how difficult and complicated this is for the demands of broadcasting, for the demands of live broadcasting and big events. But we're getting there. For me, it's very, very clear. It's seeing is believing.
Absolutely.
In 100 days, we will see.
We will see in 100 days. And I can't agree with you more that flexibility drives innovation. And having that flexibility really puts the power in the innovator's hands. And I can't wait to see this year's games, but also what happens in the future.
And for me, if I may say, this is the frontier, because the nature of the industry, engineers persuading engineers will be probably the easy part. How to engage the creatives will be the more difficult part, and it is. This is where resistance exists. The resistance is not with equipment, it's with humans, and sometimes it's very, very natural. And I think there we need to make the effort to showcase not just that people will be able to work as they used to, but the creative opportunity may actually be bigger. And this is the element that we need to be highlighting to make these technologies get traction. Not just that we don't touch anything, but actually that we multiply the creative possibilities.
No, I often say to people, go back and look at a sports broadcast from 1976 or something, and look at the complexity of that broadcast versus where we are today, the creative options they had available to them versus the creative options they have today. They are going to have so many more creative options in the next 5 to 10 years.
Absolutely. All the creatives are going to have a ton of fun, really imagining the future for us and how we all.
So the problem will remain the CFOs then.
Exactly. All right.
That's a different discussion.
Yes. All right. With that, it's obviously a really exciting time in broadcast. I can't wait to see what the new stuff you guys deploy and deliver. I'd like to thank both of you for joining me on stage today, and really more importantly, both of you have been great partners of Intel. Thank you so much.
Very, very much, and thank you for the very tangible support you're offering to our vision. À Paris.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jonas. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, some great stuff from two of our top partners and really just leaders in this overall industry. So now the question is, how do we take this beyond the Olympics? Now, one of the biggest challenges when you're driving innovation like this is the lack of an open, standard-based development framework to really allow integrators and ISVs to develop and deploy apps at scale, whether they're in the edge or in the cloud. At Intel, we have innovated. We've innovated and we've created a SDK to address this exact challenge. And we're announcing it this week. And I'm super excited that we're going to be bringing top partners on stage today to talk about how they're utilizing this SDK. And with that, I'd like to invite my colleague, Nagesh Papala, on stage to share more.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are all enjoying NAB, and so great to see so many of my industry colleagues this week, face-to-face. I'm Nagesh Papala. I'm the General Manager for Edge and Cloud Video Division within Intel's Network and Edge Group. As Dan mentioned, Intel has a long history of innovation, over 3 decades of association with the media and entertainment industry. Now, the key to those innovations is open approach. It's open standards, it's open ecosystem, it's open APIs. Now, the move to open couldn't be more important in this decade when innovation is moving at the lightning speed. Just to give you an example, it took Instagram 2.5 years to reach 100 million users. For TikTok, it took 9 months. For ChatGPT, it took 1 month. So it's imperative that the broadcast industry, media and entertainment industry, we as an industry, embrace openness to accelerate innovation. Now, the software-defined broadcasting is a step in that direction. We believe the software-defined broadcasting is going to revolutionize how live events are produced in the future. It will democratize the production workflows by running software as applications on industry-standard IT servers or common off-the-shelf servers. Now, Paris 24 is an inflection point in this journey. As was mentioned earlier, there will be 4 events at Paris and 3 venues that will basically leverage this virtual OB-WAN architecture built upon the standard COD servers and AI technologies to basically change the fan experience on site and online. Now, the same virtual OB-WAN architecture that is being used for the production side is also being used in the International Broadcast Center for the post-production activities like the transcoding and encoding and the other pieces of the post-production activities. Now, using the same architecture end-to-end enables flexibility, scalability, and simplifies the operations task basically for any kind of large event. Now, to help the industry to accelerate this journey towards the software-defined broadcasting, I am pleased to announce Intel's software-defined broadcasting solution, codenamed Polaris Point, which has been tested and proven for the scale of Olympics. Polaris Point leverages open standards, open APIs, such as ST2110 and NMOS, and it couples that with IT standards, such as Kubernetes and Helm, and running on industry standard IT servers, leveraging the best-of-breed software applications from multiple vendors. Now, there are 3 main components of this Polaris Point. The first one is Intel Media Transport Library. It's an open-source implementation of ST2110 standard. It's basically to transport media in the production environment. The second piece is Media Communications Mesh. It's an open-source implementation of a service mesh that's been optimized for media microservices for low latency and efficient communication. And the third piece is the JPEG XS codec, which has been just open-sourced last week. With Polaris Point, you can address provisioning, orchestration, and lifecycle management. To show how this solution is being deployed, please welcome Chris Lapp from Cisco and Troy English from Ross Video to share their thoughts how they're using the solution into their products. Chris and Troy. Have a seat. Right. Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Troy, for your excellent partnership. And so why don't you share with the audience how you guys are using software-defined broadcasting, how it's going to revolutionize the live event production in the future.
Software-defined broadcasting is really a way to revolutionize our approach to all of our infrastructure. Us at Cisco, we specialize in infrastructure. So it liberates us from the constraints of all these physical systems that we have, and it's going to make our workflows be able to be wherever we need them to be. Whether it's at the cloud, whether it's on-prem in a data center or a private cloud, at the near edge, it doesn't really matter. This flexibility is going to ensure that any single application that we develop can be deployed in any of those locations. We only have to develop them one time. That's going to get away from all of the expensive time that we spend developing solutions for all these different systems out there.
Excellent. Troy?
Yeah, very similar. It's the flexibility that's going to be, for me, I think one of the big advantages. So you can have a set of hardware and redeploy different applications onto it without having to change that hardware out. You can change the workflows, what type of shows you're doing easily on those.
Right.
And even more so when we start talking about things like cloud, not only can you change the applications out, but you can actually get compute resources on demand, use them when you need them, and when you're done with them, tear those down. which gives a lot of options that you don't necessarily have in more traditional workflows.
Yeah. You know, last week I was at the Sports Video Group conference, and some of you guys might have been there, and there's been a lot of discussion about, hey, can we move these production workflows into the cloud? And my point was, it's not about the public cloud or private cloud, it's about the cloud architecture and the flexibility of deploying these applications where it makes sense and where it gives the best latency and efficiency for the use case, right? So, Chris, how important is basing this SDB on open standards and APIs to enable this, edge-to-cloud scalability?
So, for software-defined broadcasting, using open standards, open APIs, and open source, in my opinion, is crucial for a whole many of reasons. And each of those reasons can contribute to the robustness, accessibility, and the innovation in the industry. We're no longer confined by stopping innovation if we're using open standards and building off of what each other have done. But it also builds on interoperability. We can now use the best-in-class software from whichever vendor we pick, and it doesn't really matter. We can integrate all of these systems. It also fosters innovation. The reason why I've been doing this is because open source is my life. I love open source technology, and it allows people like me to collaborate with other people in the industry who know more about a certain thing than I do, and they can take my ideas and implement it in their products. But security is another concern. If we're using open standards and open source technology, we can go back and make sure that our software is secure from the ground up. And I'm sure a lot of people know that the broadcast industry hasn't been famous for security for a many number of years. But taking all of this is really the best-in-class way to build foundational infrastructure that we can all build off and move the industry forward.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. Having the multi-vendor solution, be able to have the choice of picking the best-of-breed solutions for whatever part of the workload, makes a lot of sense, right? Another question for both of you. What is the future of SDB, and how do you think it will coexist with the more traditional broadcast technologies? Maybe I'll start with you, Troy, because you play in that space and how you're making your company's transition towards the software-defined broadcasting.
Make a little bit of that. So I think it's going to coexist for quite some time. There are advantages to more traditional equipment that's purpose-built, and there's obviously a lot of advantages to the software-defined aspect of it. So I think you'll see a lot of places and users using it where they have some traditional, and I think it's not just one or the other. It's going to be people picking for them and for which kind of productions they do what makes the most sense in their applications. And I think it's going to be a mixture, a hybrid. So we'll have some traditional on-prem, as well as, of course, software-defined on-prem in like a private data center that you have yourself. And then simultaneously being able to surge into the cloud to get more compute resources, software-defined as well, of course, at the same time. So it's going to be all of them, just to make everyone's life nice and easy. You used to do it one way, now you get to do it three at the same time. But it's going to be a big advantage for all of us as all of this moves out.
How about you, Chris?
So for me, the future of software-defined broadcasting, I have to tell a very quick story about when I first started in this industry. I had a supervisor at the station that I worked at who told me that never would the day exist when broadcast wasn't software. And I just love to look back on that and see where we are today and as we're pushing towards this software. So now we can take a road case, a fly pack, and we can put it anywhere, just like with the Olympics. And any of the infrastructure that we need could run on that fly pack. It could be a transcoder, it could be an up converter, it could be a replay machine, graphics machines, it doesn't matter. But then we can augment that with the still existing physical hardware that might be on a truck, or increase the capabilities as we see fit, just at the click of a button.
Yeah. I think those are excellent points. I have lived through the transformation of the networking industry. Think about the wireless core, wireless base stations, which is very critical for making the 911 calls. And it didn't happen overnight. It took the whole industry, took the village for the ecosystem to come together. As you're making this transition from traditionally vertically integrated appliances to more software-defined solutions, it certainly accelerates innovation. It increases the market for everyone in the industry over time, because innovation drives more revenue in different areas than been traditionally envisioned, right? So with that, I'll go to you, Troy. So can you tell us a little bit about your product, Katina?
Sure.
And the demo, the showing Katina and Polaris Point working together?
Yeah, so, and Chris talked about this a little earlier, is for, I'm going to say decades, if you want to control a piece of equipment remotely in one way or another, and when I say control, I mean like modify an audio gain, hit play on a video server, that level of control. It's been a lot of very proprietary and closed protocols that the industry has had to use. And sometimes they thought about security when they created those, but I can promise you not very often. So the whole point of Katina, so what Katina is we're working with SMPTE, so we're not doing it as a ROS video thing, we're doing it within SMPTE itself to make an open communications stack for control, the layer about controlling equipment remotely, that is one that can be used for most anything, and that any vendor or customer, end user, can actually implement, and that also includes security and modern security in its definition from day one. And there's now an SDK, if anybody wants to use it, available for that. And your team took that SDK, and it went very well from what I can see.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. So Chris, how about Cisco? Can you give us a little preview of Cisco, what you're doing, demo on the show floor, and where can people view it, if you had to go it?
Yeah, so the demo that we have on the show floor, it's at the Cisco booth. It's a collaboration between Intel, Cisco, and ROS Video to showcase cloud-native production and what really can happen when 3 vendors get together and say, hey, let's look at what we can do. So we're using the Intel Media Transport Library, which is based on DPDK for all the uncompressed video transport. So that is using the Intel E810 NIC, the foundational NIC from Intel, in a Cisco UCS server. And we're getting 2110-20 with -21 packet pacing, and we're also using 2110-22 to carry JPEG XS from the JPEG XS we were talking about earlier. It's a highly efficient UDP stack and a highly efficient PTP stack inside of the Media Transport Library. And it also does hardware PTP timestamping in Linux and Windows, so something that the industry has been needing for a very long time. We're using another piece of Intel software called the Media Communications Mesh, which is using some components of Cisco's Media Streaming Mesh, a project that I worked on over at Cisco. These 2 open source technologies make it possible for us to do 2110 and virtually any other real-time media protocol and workflow in environments, whether they're bare metal, whether they're traditional virtual machines, or now containers. And orchestrating all of this, we're actually using ROS Katina. And I think the most brilliant thing about ROS Katina is that it's self-describing. That really makes it much more usable for the industry and really giving that business logic on top of all the controls. Cisco booth is in the West Hall. It's W2743, if I recall correctly. So come on by. If you have any questions, please let us know. Thanks.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, Troy, and thank you very much, Chris. I really appreciate the partnership, and I continue to look forward to working with you guys. Let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. All right, so we talked a lot about production side of the broadcast. So let's shift gears and talk a little bit about the other side, which is on the delivery side, and especially on the live streaming side. Now, the content providers today are challenged with streaming broadcast quality video at scale because of the increasing costs in the delivery, increasing costs of the delivery, and also because of the geographical limitations that are impeding the quality of service. So to address these challenges, a lot of content providers that we're talking to are looking for a private streaming solution, but without breaking the bank for them, in the terms of the CapEx. So Intel has collaborated with a few ecosystem partners to find a solution how we're going to address this problem. And I am very pleased, I'm very thrilled to announce a new service called Intel Edge Content Streaming Service. We are introducing that today here. They're basically targeted at the content providers to enable them to create their own private streaming service while reducing their CapEx spending. So there's basically 2 components of this Intel Edge Content Streaming Service. The first one is a partnership with a disruptive SaaS Pro partner. These are the ones who are offering managed services today to the streaming providers. The second one is the edge-based infrastructure through global service provider partnerships. Now, the key differentiation for this service is that it's based on capacity model versus a traditional model, which is based on the consumption. Now, in this case, it's managed by SaaS partners, so content streaming providers don't have to worry about managing that infrastructure. A SaaS provider will manage that infrastructure, and then with zero CapEx investment. So you pay as you go as you're using the infrastructure. Now, one of Intel's SaaS collaboration partners, or the Intel's edge infrastructure partners, has been Lumen. And I would like to invite Scott Brindamore, Vice President of Product Management at Lumen, to share his perspective and why he's so excited, why Lumen is so excited to be part of this solution. And welcome, Scott. Good to see you, Scott. Have a seat. All right. So, Scott, we have been in this journey for almost a year now, right?
Has it been that short?
It's been that short. It's been a little longer, but why don't you share with your audience, why Lumen is so excited about this service, right? And why do you see, I think, how does it solve the content provider's problem, and what do you bring to the table? Why should people come to you?
Yeah, first, I'd just like to say thank you to you and the entire Intel team. I think the partnership and how we're collaborating together, we're honored to be selected as one of the service providers to launch the service with. I think as a product guy, the collaboration, the understanding of your customers' problems, the discussion with your customers as well as we go forward through this process has been invaluable to making sure that we have the right platform, the hardware and software platform that can be optimized to the use cases and provided in a service-based manner that customers want. So thank you and kudos to you and the team. From a Lumen perspective, we're on a journey to transform the company to monetize our network. We feel that obviously in today's world, having the content closer to the users, to the eyeballs, and providing that level of performance that they need is critical. So using our edge network to deliver a service to customers that is low latency, so lots of fiber in the ground that Lumen has that can provide low latency connectivity. We're one of the most peered IP backbones in the world. That gives you the connectedness to those eyeballs at a performance level, as well as the fiber capacity, and we're owning that infrastructure to ensure that we're providing the network performance that you need. But then our edge locations with the distributed nature of the edge to be able to offer a service where the network and the application and the hardware is one and can be automated and delivered at scale to customers to meet the demand that they need wherever they need it, and is fungible and flexible to support whatever software platform we decide to go to market with. So I think the partnership is a great one as we see this industry evolving and expanding. There's lots of use cases that we can put on top of this. Gaming comes to mind. Obviously, AI. We're in an AI world. There's lots of opportunity to bring this further. So,
absolutely, I can't agree more. And I think there's a lot of talk has been about the edge computing and the edge cloud, but the question has been, what services are going to be deployed at the edge? And the way we see it, the services that are going to be deployed at the edge are one which are latency sensitive and bandwidth intensive. So law of land, law of physics, right, and the law of the business. So I think based on those principles, we see that media services like live streaming, cloud gaming, software-defined broadcasting, those are going to land on the edge infrastructure. And who else is better prepared than someone like Lumen, who has the infrastructure for what 99.x% reach within 5 milliseconds in the US?
Yeah, 98.7% of enterprises within 5 milliseconds is the stat that we tout today. Yep.
Excellent. It's great to have this partnership, Sean. I really appreciate your partnership and looking forward to doing a lot more wonderful things in the future.
I think all we go is up, right? Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Scott. All right. So that's kind of the end of the show. I just want to recap what we have just talked about. Paris 2024 Olympic Games is going to be the first major sports that's going to be using software-defined broadcasting to do a live broadcast of 4 events across 3 venues to billions of viewers around the world. If it can be done for the Olympics, it can be done for any event. And this was not an easy journey. It was a journey that we started over 4 years, had proven that Beijing Olympics, and brought it to production in Paris. And they're all deployed using software-defined broadcasting, using off-the-shelf application, using on the top of COTS servers. Intel is enabling the industry to take advantage of the work that we have done for the Paris Olympics. We just announced our solution for the software-defined broadcasting. It's codenamed Polaris Point. It includes ST2110, JPEG XS, and media communications mesh, all packaged together. So it's open source. You can take it and use it now. We have also created reference pipelines. So you can take it as is, or you can take the components and integrate that into your existing workflows. And last but not the least, in the Intel Edge content streaming service, the problem is not just on the production side, but also on the distribution side, and to help content providers to have their own private streaming service without breaking the bank. Intel Edge content streaming service in collaboration with our SaaS partners and edge service providers. That's the final one. So thank you, everyone. I hope you liked it. You found this keynote informative, and I thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the show. And if you guys want, you can check out some of our demos at the listed events here. Thank you.